So, hi and welcome to the end of what was actually a 4 hour and 40-minute speed run in Project Diablo 2. This is something I've wanted to try out for a long time since they made the changes to how thorns damage, attacker takes damage, and also the entire mechanic of when it's delivered to monsters occurs, and that is the Pacifist Paladin. We just beat normal difficulty without attacking a single monster. How did we do that? Well, we have a little skill called Thorns. Thorns is going to go ahead and return 35 damage per attack. That's with 1 point in Might synergy. We also get Prayer, Defiance, and Vigor to be able to run faster. The gear for this run is all centered around of Nova Shield. This is a suffix which adds a 10% chance to cast a level 3 Nova when you are successfully struck. So, in Project Diablo 2, as opposed to in Vanilla, LOD, if a monster were to miss you or you were to block, attacker takes damage and Thorns does not actually get returned to them. In Project Diablo 2, even if they miss, even if you block, they still take that damage. So we have a shield here with a skull and a chip skull that's returning an additional 20 damage. Our attacker takes damage maxed out at 55 with Thorns at max skill cap. You'll see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of gear with Nova. That means that we have a 50% chance to return a level 3 Nova when struck. So again, if we block, this doesn't go off, and if the monster misses, this doesn't go off. So this is actually going off less than 50% of the time. In addition to that, we actually did make a stealth from running Countess, and we also got 10% faster run walk. We also happen to find the Diggler, who is actually just sick. It has 50 res in total between cold and fire, which are both really important for this run. Now, how does this compare to LOD? The answer is a mixed bag. So since attacker takes damage reflects even if the monster misses or you block, you actually can survive more damage because you can stand completely still. In LOD, you actually run around continuously because while you're running, you cannot be missed by a monster, so they will always hit you. Here, even if they hit you, even if they miss you, they still take the damage. So you actually get to stay still, get the full benefit of your block, the full benefit of your defense, and also you don't have to be running around as much, which means that monsters are hitting you faster. Now, what's the problem? At skill level 15, this is returning 35 damage. At skill level 15 in the vanilla run, Thorns is returning something close to 700% of the damage dealt to you. And where we really felt this difference is actually on bosses. So what I'll do right now, I'm not going to show you the whole run. I'm going to take the Baal portion of this run, which was something like 40 minutes, and speed it up. And you're going to watch the whole fight. I'm going to try to speed up to like 1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll come back to it. So let's cut that in right here. Did I do it? Did I edit it right? I hope I edited it right. On bosses, one of the fastest parts of the speedrun is actually when a boss hits you in vanilla. You're returning 7 times their total damage back to themselves. So if they're hitting you for 100 damage, you're returning 700 damage. Obviously, they'll have damage reduction and all of that, but still, you're returning hundreds of damage. And especially on Baal, Baal crits you very often when he attacks, so you're often returning like 800 damage to him on every hit. We were returning 50 damage per hit, and about a quarter of the time doing a level 3 Nova. The current world record which I wouldn't say I tried to go for world record speed here. I didn't reset maps. I wasn't looking for the perfect gem drop. I just started the run and went with it. The current world record in LOD is 2 hours and 15 minutes. This took us 4 hours and 40 minutes. What you don't see is that when Indariel died, my splits actually reset, so I had to start them up again. And then we didn't have any other issues with our splits after that. This was 4 hours and 40 minutes. Now, keep a couple things in mind. This is not a damnation of thorns or how attacker takes damage works in PD2 at all. We're only level 21. We're doing this like you would in a normal speedrun where you wouldn't overlevel. Now, we wouldn't really become that much more powerful with additional levels, but we are not like going above and beyond here. So that's a really important thing to note. As well as that, a lot of people are asking, especially on PD2, can you do a hell speedrun of this? And the answer is just no. For people who don't know the run, there are two monsters that are a big problem. That's Madoc the Ancient and Lord Desace, who's the second seal boss in the Chaos Sanctuary. Lord Desace and Madoc in vanilla don't trigger Thorns damage because they use ranged attacks, and on top of that, Lord Desace uses spells. So the only way to deal damage to them was through the Nova charges. Now, Madoc does take attacker takes damage, which actually drastically speeds up the Ancients fight. Normally, the Ancients fight can take anywhere between like 15 to 30 minutes, and I think this one only took us like 3 to 5 minutes. Lord Desace, though, does not trigger Thorns damage in any way, shape, or form. The attacks of an Oblivion Knight don't count as ranged attacks. They count as abilities. So the only way to kill him is with Nova, and since Nova gear really doesn't scale into Hell, you would actually need a bunch of other like unique and set and crafted versions of items to be able to get procs that are high enough to actually deal damage to him. So sadly, even in PD2, where attacker takes damage is a lot easier to proc, you still couldn't actually get past Nightmare, which stinks, but it's still a fun thing to do. If you're interested in trying this, I'll link to like my how-to guide, because you should do this in LOD. It's really interesting, and you can get sub 3 hours after you master a couple of the bits fairly quickly. So if you've never tried it, I highly recommend it. The Pacifist is a fantastically interesting way to play the game. Do not do this in PD2. Oh dear God, don't do it. If you want to build this, build a taunt barb with dual silent. Don't do Thorns Paladin. It's a support build. It's not a main build. It's an extra aura in case every other aura in the game is being used already. Thank you. I hope that you enjoyed that, and I hope that you found it entertaining. And I'll see you in the next video.